First, can you provide us with an update regarding infrastructure talks in the Senate?
Yeah, we are moving forward on this. It's bipartisan. I spoke with Senator Portman only a few minutes ago about it. It's all about jobs. It's going to mean a lot of jobs in Toledo. It's going to be a lot of jobs all over Ohio. Ohio will get at least $12 billion for transportation, for highways, bridges, water, sewer, broadband. Broadband is really important. The way, if you think about the history, and I know, Jaden, you're a student of history, in the 1930s, Roosevelt, I was going to say Jefferson, that's your name, not a different president. Roosevelt did big things in the country, in part by electrifying the countryside, by bringing in electricity to areas that didn't have it. Broadband in some ways is the same thing. How important it is that we know that broadband is not, that the internet access is not what it should be in inner cities and in rural areas, and we've got to do both. It will make a difference in medical health care. It'll make a difference in education. It'll make a difference for people starting small businesses.
When it comes to infrastructure, Democrats and Republicans have varying opinions on what type of infrastructure should be a top priority. So what type of infrastructure are you focused on at this point in time?
That's really good insight. To Republicans, infrastructure is sort of the traditional old-fashioned water, sewer, bridges, highways, streets, all of that. To Democrats, it's all of that for sure, but it's way more. It is broadband, it is childcare, it is education, it is healthcare, it is housing. For instance, in our bill, we're investing tens of billions of dollars in helping people with down payment assistance, people who have been redlined in their neighborhood, never been able to hold a home, buy a home. And we know that, especially in the Black community and people of color, that the wealth, the importance, we know the importance, we know how many were denied ability to buy homes because of redlining and Jim Crow. We also know that the best way to pass down wealth from one generation to the next is owning a home and building wealth around that home. And so we make special provisions to do that, and to do that right, through down payment assistance, through other rent to own programs, to helping people with their rent, to helping to build wealth. And that's partly about wages. It's partly about student loans, not graduating with huge debt. It's all of those things come together. So the more direct answer, sorry, the long answer to your question is that to Democrats, infrastructure is how do you launch families and how do you build a foundation under families so that we can have more opportunity for more young people like you of any color, young people meaning someone your age. How do you get a better chance in life by building that foundation as you grow older?
You talked a little bit about it, but what are some issues working Ohioans face that an investment in infrastructure can solve?
Well, first of all, it's going to provide lots and lots of jobs, building infrastructure, also jobs making steel. I was in your community last week at Cleveland Cliffs. It's originally a Cleveland company, obviously, has a big production facility in Toledo. And one of the things we did in the infrastructure bill is a strong Buy America provision. You and I have talked about it in the past, Jaden. This one is stronger. It's going to be more enforceable. Senator Portman and I did it jointly, bipartisanly, and it will mean that we're not going to see any bridges built in Oakland, California, made entirely of Chinese steel. If U.S. tax dollars are involved, there are going to be jobs in the United States for American workers, whether it's steel, whether it's a water system, whether it's laying down cement, whatever it is.
Switching gears to COVID-19, President Biden recently introduced a new plan to address COVID-19 and the Delta variant in particular. So what's your reaction to that plan?
I think the president did the right thing. I mean, because there are so many ultra conservative, I would call them radicals, governors on the Republic, they're all Republicans, unfortunately, around the country that have just dug in and resisted, not resisted the mandates, they're really resisting the whole idea of getting vaccinated. And if we will never get the economy to the place that we want it until we get this virus in the rearview mirror. And we made such good progress. I mean, Biden said on the inauguration, he said, first 100 days, we're going to get 100 million shots in people's arms. And we did almost double that. But then so many people for political reasons, they aren't scientific reasons for sure, political reasons resisted it. And look where we are now. And in the states where the resistance has been greatest are the states that have the worst outbreak, places like Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana. And it breaks my heart because people are sick and people are dying because of that. And the most telling statistic is over 95% of people hospitalized with COVID are unvaccinated. So you may get COVID if you're vaccinated, but you won't likely get very sick. And that really concerns me for people younger than you who can't get vaccinated and because they're not old enough yet. And if their parents aren't vaccinated, it's potentially a serious public health threat.
What impact has the pandemic had on Ohio businesses? And what is the benefit of finally having a vaccine to combat the virus?
Well, the fact we didn't have a vaccine last year, we do this year. The fact we have a president now who is encouraging people and setting up the whole structure to get people vaccinated makes all the difference in the world. We know that businesses were hurt by the shutdown, but if we hadn't shut down last year, we know that there would be so many more deaths and there'd be so many more problems in the workplace. So it's important that we do this right and that people get vaccinated and we can get back to work then.
Finally, COVID-19 cases are once again rising in Ohio. So what should Ohioans be doing to beat back the virus?
Well, in particularly rural areas, the vaccination rate is less. And I just encourage, I know what I say to people that are politically really conservative probably isn't going to matter a lot, but it's pretty clear where the science is. The science say you get vaccinated, you're not going to die. I mean, the chances of dying from COVID, if you're vaccinated, are just so minuscule. But if you aren't vaccinated and you're exposed, you can get very, very sick or worse.
Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown, thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you again, Jaden. Haven't seen you in a while. So
look
forward to seeing you in person like we started off a couple of years ago.